Hey guys, Tony Tell Like It Is, breaking down the Netflix documentary, First Team Juventus. In demand, this first team documentary into a football team was released during February the 16th of 2018. This was a major clue of what was going to come for next year and not necessarily this season. There are 6 episodes, 3 were released right now. They're English subtitles. My biggest problem with that is that they're English subtitles and it can make it a little bit awkward for an English speaker, but you get to see what the players do outside of the pitch and what goes on during their day-to-day activities, pretty much the life of a footballer and having to partake in community events outside of the pitch. This documentary gets a first glimpse of the winning mentality of Juventus, of a big club like Juventus, and what is expected for a team like Juventus, and the culture of a winning team like Juventus, and many others that may see their own on-demand documentary series someday that Amazon or so are going to do with other teams. But it is first team Juventus in Gematria that equals 63. 63 prior Champions Leagues to next year's Champions League, the 2018-19 Champions League. They will go all the way until the very end for the Bianconeri. The 64th Champions League, 63 prior Champions Leagues. The documentary is a prelude to next year's Champions League. First team Juventus in Gematria equals 63. FINO ALLA FINE. Until the end, the fighting spirit of Juventus to fight and suffer and sacrifice to the very end. This is what next year is going to be about. Never giving up if you're a true Bianconeri. Never give up in Gematria equals 63. Forza means power and strength in Italian. Forza Buffon in Gematria equals 63. And how about the winner of this year's Champions League? Oops, Bayern does not actually equal 65. Keep forgetting, I keep thinking Bayern equals 65, but that's actually a sign of what also would come for next year's Champions League. First team Juventus. First team in Gematria equals 111. When you go to the club Juventus's Wikipedia page, I want you to notice that the club was founded on November the 1st. November the 1st, it can be written out as 11-1. This is why the documentary was named First Team Juventus. The team that was founded on the 1st of November. 1-11, if you're a foreigner, the first day goes out in front, the month second. So that's why the documentary was named First Team. Pretty interesting how that's the case. You take a look at 2019. First team in Gematria equals 39. This is a clue of what's going to come for next year's Champions League. 2019, when you think about it, it all adds up to 39. Juventus to play Paris Saint-Germain in the final. Buffon knocks off France in the World Cup. He wins Champions League over Paris Saint-Germain. It is Paris also in Gematria that equals 63. 27. That 2-7 record in the final that we keep talking about with Juventus, Paris equaling 36. The documentary was released on February the 16th of 2018. The date numerology that it was released equals 56. And 36 as well. Paris and Gematria equals 36, a sign of what's to come. You think about Paris Saint-Germain equaling 39 as well. A lot can be connected for this year's Champions League. But the documentary was released this year. 2018. Next year, it turns into 37. February the 16th, right? February the 16th of next year for the Bianconeri, for the Juventus, La Juventus. 2 plus 16 plus 19 for next season, 37. Juventus, by winning the Champions League, can have a 3-7 record in the final. The number 10, Paulo Dybala, the opportunity to win the Ballon d'Or after winning the World Cup with Argentina. I sense great things for him. But in Gematria for next year, when you include the 20 in front, notice how this turns into 57. City of Madrid in Italian. Città di Madrid. Città di Madrid equals 61. The final on 6-1. Let me go check it out for you. Città di Madrid, okay, the date of the final on June the 1st, 6-1, a big sign of what's going to come. Madrid Spagna, see nothing there. But first team in Italian is where the next major big clue is going to be for this Champions League. First team Juventus, prima squadra in Italian. Prima squadra in Gematria equals 57. Massimiliano Allegri's 57th Champions League game with Juventus would come at Madrid, Spain, in the Champions League final. Prima squadra Juventus, that 2-7, that record in the final, right? Prima squadra 57. It takes 13 games to play in the Champions League final. I'm here to calculate Massimiliano Allegri's Champions League games with the Bianconeri as the manager of Juventus. 13 in 2015, 13 knockout games. I meant to say 57 knockout games, then 8 the following year, then 13 in 16-17, then 10 this year. So adds up to 44, 13 more games next year, 57. Is 57 the Champions League game? 57th knockout match in the Champions League with Juventus? Would simply enough come in the Champions League final. Prima squadra. How about the official language of the site? Madrid, Spain. Primer equipo. Nothing there, but Italian takes precedent for the Champions League. You think about Netflix that did this documentary for the Bianconeri. Netflix. It was worth noting, though, that Netflix was founded on August the 29th. August the 29th is significant in that it adds up to 37. Juventus can go 3-7 in the Champions League final with the win. 18 plus 19, the 18-19 season, adding up to 37. A lot starting to add up for Juventus. 121 Albright Way. This year, Juventus celebrated its 120th season in existence. Next year in 2018-2019 would be the 121st season for the club. This is why the address of the producer of the documentary is super significant to begin with. 121. Now, where is all this leading up to? You know, the day of the final and the day that the documentary is released? You know the amount of time from the final to the day that Netflix was founded? a lot of connections can be made. And I'll do it for you right now. The amount of time from June the 21st to August the 29th is a time span of 89 days. I don't think Spagna or Madrid would equal 89. That's Spain in Italian, by the way. I didn't see much there, but how about the amount of time from the 1-year anniversary of the documentary to the day of the final? Because a lot can be said about the journey towards the final. The 33rd prime is 137 when you include the end date. 137 days from January the 16th to June the 1st. Very significant. 137 is the 33rd prime. Juventus FC equals 33. The Freemasonic Juventus. The black and whites Masonry and Gematria equals 33. Now the next thing I was going to mention, a list of the Champions League finals. How about categorizing this by country? Okay, that's England, that's 12-7. It's not Italy, that's 13-7. Preludio, a prelude to the Champions League final. Preludio, prelude in Italian. It is Preludio in Gematria, that equals 46. This is what this first team documentary is about. Next year is the 64th Champions League. The reflection of 64 is 46. June the 1st of 2019 adds up to 46. Preludio, prelude. How about the amount of time from the day that well, you see there, this wasn't even January. "106 days. That's very close to 107. February the 16th. How about the amount of time from the last time they lost the final? June the 2nd and June the 16th. This is 107 days. 107 is the site of next year's Champions League if you make a connection with the last time Juventus lost the final, which was on June the 2nd. That's where the Madrid-Spagna connection is coming from. Madrid-Spagna and Gematria equals 107 and 53. It would be 107 days from the day that the documentary was released to June the 2nd. This would be 2018, by the way. This 107 is a connection to what happened at Cardiff, Wales. Spain in Italian is Spagna. Cardiff, Wales, 107. Madrid, Spagna, in Gematria equals 107 and 53. The use of Italian Gematria, the use of a foreign language to try to make connections for a team that you think is going to win the Champions League final. It is Giorgio, I think that equals, Giorgio equals 53. Giorgio Chiellini equals 107. Madrid Spagna equals 107. Gianluigi and Gematria equals 53. Big number 53. Madrid Spagna. You think about Spagna itself. 22 full years without winning the Champions League. It all ends at Spain for Juventus. Paulo de Bala, $23 million it is, 32 million euros. A lot to cover in the video about Juventus winning the treble. That'll be the 10th video of my whole playlist. But one thing is for certain, in my opinion, with this documentary, is that Gianluigi Buffon, I am predicting him to speak and utter the last words of this documentary. I'm predicting Gianluigi Buffon to cap the documentary, to say the last line it will be Buffon, in my opinion, that's going to say FINO ALLA FINE until the end. In this documentary, I'm predicting Buffon, the passion of winning the Champions League flowing through his veins, to say that this is not the end yet, that I will fight until the very end, and I will get the one thing that's missing in my career. And missing out this year at Madrid will only fuel me to end the Champions League next year at that exact city of Madrid. You look at this year's Champions League, you look at what happened with Juventus. This documentary is going to show the fighting spirit of the Bianconeri. When we go to the knockout stage of the Champions League, notice that for Juventus, both of their draws ended 4-3. It all boils back to the phrase FINO ALLA FINE. Tottenham with the away goal advantage, Juventus down a goal, they fight until the very end. Juventus down 3-0 to Real Madrid, they fight until the very end against Real Madrid. To the very end for the Bianconeri. End equals 23. It is FINE and Gematria equals 34. That 34 again, a score of 4-3 in both legs. Completely rigged, completely scripted by the Freemasons and Zionists that rig and script the road of professional sports. The Zionists have deceived the masses again in plain sight, and they mock us through these scores. The scores of Juventus 4, Spurs 3, and then Juventus 3 in Real Madrid are going to signal what's going to happen for the Bianconeri next year. But Buffon will utter that famous line at the end of the documentary, FINO ALLA FINE. I'm going to be so shocked if he doesn't retire. This documentary is all about the fighting spirit of Juventus and what's going to come, to fight until the very end in the making of a champion. And there'll be a lot of reflection after the end of this year's season, which I think is going to end in some more disappointment and just a passion to continue on. There'll be some very deep messages to take from this documentary at the very end. I'm going to stick with Napoli, I'm going to stick with AC Milan, but to the end, FINO ALLA FINE, Forza Juve.